Kia ora koutou. Thank you so much for having me here today. Before I dive in, I'll just introduce myself and give you a little background about myself. So my name is Mitzie. I am the planner or kaiwhakamahere for Heritage New Zealand Pohiri-Tonga, specifically for the Canterbury and West Coast regions. My background is with a Bachelor's of Science, double majoring in Environmental Science and Geography from the University of Canterbury. I'm also an associate member of the New Zealand Planning Institute, or NZPI. To begin my career, I became a consents planner after university at the Waikato District Council, so I lived up north for a few years. I've always had an interest in the environment and sustainability, but also a real passion for history. So when the opportunity came up to combine planning with heritage, I jumped at it, and now here we are. What I've found really great in my role as a planner for Heritage New Zealand is how great and rewarding it is to combine both my interest in history and planning for a sustainable future. So what does a heritage planner do? So in simple terms, I basically work at the intersection of heritage and development. No 2 days really are ever the same. My main role is, I guess, to advocate for the protection and conservation of New Zealand's historic and cultural heritage, and I do that by assessing development proposals and resource consent applications. So in doing that, I work a lot with councils, developers, also private owners. So I often spend a lot of time reading reports or interpreting district plans or just on the phone to private owners and developers. I also do a little bit of planning policy work, so making submissions on plan changes for district councils or resource consents or just making submissions on general policies as well. Another part of my role, obviously, is also stakeholder and owner engagement. So going out to site visits and meeting with owners and developers as well is a big part of my job. Heritage New Zealand, as Nigel already mentioned earlier, is an independent Crown entity, autonomous Crown entity, and we are New Zealand's leading agency responsible for identifying, protecting, preserving and conserving New Zealand's historical and cultural heritage. Our work is grounded in the Heritage New Zealand Pohiri-Tonga Act, and this legislation helps us to manage our historic places and also regulate archaeology across the country. Our mission essentially is to provide collaborative leadership and bring meaning, life and connection to cultural heritage places. As it's said on the slide there, Heritage New Zealand actually only owns 45 properties on the New Zealand Heritage List. Majority of the listed historic places are actually, believe it or not, privately owned. It's not always easy, especially when heritage values clash with development pressures, but I guess that's where my role as a planner comes in as well. So my role is to help find a balance between preservation and protection and sustainable development. So I've got up there some photographs of probably some of the more, I guess, recognisable or places you might know of in Christchurch that are actually listed on the New Zealand Heritage List, or Rarangi Kōrero. So a very familiar one there for a lot of you might be the Arts Centre, which is a Category 1. We've also got Riccarton House and Bush, which some of you might have been to already. That's where the Saturday markets are always held. And the New Regent Street historic area is also up there, which might be a shock to some of you. I know it was for me. I didn't know it was a historic area prior to working with Heritage New Zealand. But yeah, those are, I guess, some of the more recognisable or familiar heritage places in town. In total, Christchurch has about 347 historic places on the list. Some things I enjoy about my role include the diversity of work that I'm involved in. So one day I could be looking at an earthquake strengthening proposal. Another day I could be looking at a full refurbishment of an historic place. And another day I could be out on site, which I find is a good balance of desk and field work. The site visits are also, I guess, really a really valuable and rewarding part of the job. I find that you don't fully appreciate the significance of a place until you are standing in it or in front of it. I also enjoy being a part of exciting projects and development early on, where I can be a part of the process and have real influence in heritage preservation. I find that quite rewarding. I've also put events up there, which is also quite fun to be a part of. I've put up some photos of, I am aware of the time. I've put up some photos of some events that we've had over the past year. So we've had the Archaeology event held in the Kate Shepherd House on Clyde Road near the university, and also an opening event for a newly listed historic place at the top. The top right-hand photo is just, I guess, an example of the wonderful views we see out on site. This was from our Christmas work do, where we headed out to Quail Island to spend some time with the team and the Antarctic Heritage Trust as well. And then the bottom right is just another day on site as well, where we spent it with Doc and Ngāti Whiki out on Ripapa Island. How to get into this career or a similar role. So I've found what's been helpful for me is, developing practical, technical, and soft skills. I guess it helps to start heading in that direction. So this can involve things like literacy, report writing, public speaking, time management, and communication. Being able to explain and navigate complex issues will be a huge part of the job, or with any job that you go into as well. Studying a relevant or related degree to heritage, although as Lyndon mentioned earlier, you could go into, any study path that interests you and still find a place in the heritage sector. My background in environmental science and geography definitely gave me a solid foundation in environmental management and understanding the RMA, Resource Management Act, spatial analysis, cultural landscape understanding, and research and report writing. The NZPI website also does contain a list of accredited planning degrees as well that you could study in New Zealand to head into the planning sector. And lastly, as has been mentioned already many times, definitely don't underestimate the value of making connections and networking, whether that's through internships or volunteering or with councils, or even just showing up to industry events. Can really make a difference when you're first starting out in your career. You can find that snip on the right-hand side on the Heritage New Zealand website, just to keep an eye out for any opportunities we may have. Thank you very much.